Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Emma Ingram. I'm a Senior Assistant Director here in Undergraduate Admission at Bentley University, and I'm here with one of my good friends, a student at Bentley, Jennifer Wright.
Hi.
She is going to be a rising sophomore this year, so she is definitely an expert on what the student life at Bentley is like, and I am an alumni myself. I just graduated 3 years ago, so I like to think that I still know what's going on campus and still have an idea, but definitely she'll be able to give a bit more of a current view. So to get started, we just, good. One big thing we've talked all about financial aid today on our first session, and in the second session, we had a great team that talked about what makes Bentley unique and how to apply to Bentley. But definitely think something that's so important about Bentley is the student life here, and we definitely, I think, do a great job at the balance between academics and student life. You go to college to have a good time also, and to enjoy and to live in such a fun community. And I think that's definitely part of Bentley and what we value. So just the first bullet, 100 plus student organizations. So for 4,000 undergrad, to have over 100 clubs and organizations is a lot.
It is.
So, and they vary all over the place. I know we have the Bentley Skydiving Club. I know we have different political clubs. We have, Greek life here, the motorcycle club. So, if there's definitely a calling, we will add it. And it definitely makes it for a very active and diverse community that we have here. Do you agree?
Definitely.
Definitely.
And the new clubs are always being added as well. I know the equestrian club was just started this past semester, so if there's ever an interest, students are able to get it going.
Awesome, good. And we always listen to the students, whether it's adding a new club, new organization, a new fraternity, a new sorority, a new class. There's definitely a lot of support from the faculty and staff to help you do that. And then another great part about Bentley is that everyone lives on campus. So definitely not a suitcase school. People don't pick up and leave on the weekends. And you are guaranteed housing all 4 years. So I think 97% of freshmen live on campus, and 85% of total students live on campus. So can you give me a little bit of an idea of, why everyone lives on campus and what your freshman experience was like in the dorms?
Yeah, so I definitely didn't have many friends who were commuters, and even if they did, I think they were here until midnight most nights anyways. There's definitely always something going on campus. Every single Friday and Saturday there is an event through Falcons Unite, and I think we're talking about that later on as well. There's sporting events every weekend, different Greek life putting on events or things like that, and then all your friends are here as well, so you want to stay around and go into Boston with them or anything like that.
Awesome. And the dorm rooms here are pretty awesome. Would you agree?
I give tours here as well, and the tours are always amazed, and they're like, these are the best ones I've ever seen, and they're very large, which is nice.
Definitely.
And air conditioned.
And they are all air conditioned. So your freshman year, typically you live in a dorm room. There's 3 freshman dorms here, and it's the typical dorm room experience. They are large and they are nice, but it's the 2 double beds, the 2 desks, the 2 closets, and a communal bathroom. But everyone has to go through the freshman dorm experience. But then you get a big upgrade your sophomore year. So can you talk a little bit about what a suite is?
Yeah, so I'm moving into my first one in a week, so I'm very excited, but I've visited lots of friends in them, and it's basically that same double or single, but you have a couple of them all sharing one living room, a kitchenette, and a bathroom. So it's kind of your own area just without the oven. So next year I actually have a single, and then there are 2 other doubles sharing it with me.
Awesome. And like we said, they're all air conditioned. They're all kept in very good very good shape. They're always renovating them, and they really, I think that's a big reason why a lot of students live on campus also, is because the facilities here are so nice when you live here. So that's definitely something that's important at Bentley as well. And then Boston, of course, is a huge reason why students come to Bentley. Boston is only 9 miles away from us. Very easy to get into Boston. It really goes Waltham, Cambridge, Boston. Lots of schools in this area. So if you have any friends that are going to school in the Boston area that isn't at Bentley, if they're going to BU or BC or Northeastern, there's always, it's going to be very, very easy to go visit them and see them. We have a free shuttle here for students, and it loops around campus once, picks everyone up, and drops everyone off in Harvard Square in Cambridge, right outside the Red Line, which is our subway system here in Boston, and that will take you anywhere in Boston. So how often does that shuttle run?
It's about every hour on weekdays, every half hour on weekends, and then you're not going to be stranded in Boston, which is nice. It goes till about midnight on weekdays and until 3 a.m. even on weekends, which is later than the T runs. So you're pretty good there.
Awesome. Now, do you and your friends, have you used the shuttle?
Yep, I actually go into Boston about every Friday, and I go in for this big event with Boston Bentley Christian Fellowship, and we get dinner together and meet other colleges and stuff like that. And then sometimes I just go in on a Saturday or something to hang out in like Boston Commons.
Yeah, definitely. I know my friends and I used to go on the shuttle all the time, and we would go, 2 or 3 times a week, even on a weeknight, just to go in and get off campus for a little bit and explore Harvard Square, or maybe continue into Boston and just go shopping and get away, and then come back and do our studying. But if we just needed that little break for a little bit, it was so easy to just hop into Boston for a couple hours and then come right back.
And I even have friends who do that. They go into the city for an internship, and they work out their schedule so that they can do it, and it's very convenient.
Yeah, definitely. So if students have internships, in Cambridge or in Boston, it's definitely very easy to use our shuttle for the transportation to get in and out, and it's free too, which is pretty awesome. All right, so now we're going to talk about some of the events that we think are very special to Bentley. They are annual events typically, and we wanted to give a little bit of explanation behind them because they are, such a big part of our culture here at Bentley. So the first one is Spring Day. Spring Day is one Saturday at the end of April each year. It is the day where all the students come out to celebrate that the snow of New England has finally melted and that it is spring. And so we always hire a big name performer to come to campus each year. And this past year it was
T-Pain.
T-Pain, okay, and they
Which was
performed.
amazing.
Awesome. Glad you liked it. So it was down in the Dana Athletic Center.
Yes.
So rain or shine, the show will go on because it's indoors. And then what else do they have during Spring Day for events?
Yep. So this was my first spring day, so it was really, really exciting. Most people wake up at like 7 a.m. and they start going to the events. You go down onto the lower campus and it's really a carnival. They have so much free food, which is awesome. Those free tattoos where you just rub water on and you can do that say like Spring Day 2013. Different like amusement activities and different live performances, balloon makers, so you get to kind of relive your childhood a little bit, which is fun. And then you obviously go into the concert, usually at like 5 or 6 p.m., and you have that huge concert, which basically everyone will go to, and it's the talk of school for a while.
Yes, and we've always hired big name performers. I know my senior year we had Ludacris, and then the year before that we had Third Eye Blind, so always someone big to come to campus, so it's always a really fun event. All right, so next is homecoming weekend. So homecoming weekend is definitely, I know a lot of schools have homecoming, but here at Bentley, a lot of students are always surprised that with 4,000 undergrad, we have as many sports as we do. We have all 22 varsity sports. They're all Division II. Ice hockey is Division I. We are in the Northeast 10 Conference, so we compete with a lot of schools in the area, but also some in New York, Connecticut. And homecoming weekend is always a really fun weekend. Big football game, big turnout for the game. Now, do you go to homecoming weekend often?
I did. Well, I've only had one.
Oh, you've only had one.
But I went, and it was really, really great. So I always tell my tours this too, and everyone always thinks it's gross, but we give out free fried Oreos, and they are my favorite, and I'm waiting for football season to start again because I can't wait to have one. And then you get, of course, your like pulled pork sandwiches and your hamburgers and everything. And then we have a lot of alumni events during that day as well, which is nice.
Yes, definitely. Our alumni office definitely combines with homecoming weekend, and a lot of alumni go to the football game with their families, which is so fun to see them all come back with their little kids and whatnot. And then they also do have big events at a local restaurant afterwards for different classes. They might have it at different bars or different restaurants, so that's just another whole part of homecoming weekend. So that's a really great time and a great way to show off our school spirit as well. All right, breakfast by moonlight. This is definitely something that I think is very unique to Bentley. Breakfast by moonlight. It's so cool that the professors serve the students. So did you go to Breakfast by Moonlight this past year?
I went to one of them.
You went to one of them. Okay, so can you explain the premise behind it and then what you thought about it?
Yeah, so they pick a theme every year. The one I went to was a Harry Potter theme, and of course, everyone immediately that's their childhood. So it's really great. So you go and you pay $3 to get in, or $1 if you dress up. So a lot of people are dressed up, and it actually goes to charity, which is awesome. But you go in at maybe 10 p.m. to midnight, I think it is, and the faculty are all there with all your favorite breakfast foods, so tater tots and pancakes and sausage and all that, and you just get lots of food and sit down and sit with all your friends in pajamas and eat. They also have lots of events going on during it. They have live music all the time at it and other things like that.
Awesome. So the whole premise of it is that it happens twice a year, and it's always the night before finals begin. So that it's kind of like you're going to be studying so hard for the next few days. It's the chance for the professors to serve you food,
Yes.
and do something for you because they know that you're studying so hard for their finals. So this is always a huge event, and I mean, who wouldn't want breakfast by
Exactly.
moonlight?
It's
So
such a stress reliever.
yes, good,
Nice.
good, and it gets you geared up for studying as well. So. All right, so next is fraternities and sororities, and this is another thing that a lot of people are very surprised that we have, being 4,000 undergrad, but it's definitely a big part of the Bentley culture. So we have 6 fraternities and 4 sororities. They make up about 15% of our population. What I think is so great about our fraternities and sororities is they really don't have their own houses. They just live within the general population, in the dorms. You know, they might live with each other in a dorm room, but they never have like a whole floor or anything like that. And they go through the same process as any other school, where they go through the pledging and whatnot. And it's really, it's a big part of our community here. Would you agree?
Yeah, and then also it's not just social frats, which I think is big. We are a business school, so we have a lot of professional frats, which tend to be co-ed as well, so it's not restricted. We have a theater frat, which is cool. They put on plays, I think, twice a year, and then we also have a Jewish frat. So they have lots of different events that are open to the whole community, so it's really not that they restrict it only to the fraternities and sororities.
Awesome. And can you talk a little bit about the anti-hazing acts that we have going on right now on campus?
Yeah, so I'm actually part of service learning. I did One Goal, One Community this past semester, which was a anti-bullying group. But at the beginning of the school year, we worked with all the sporting groups on campus as well as all the fraternities and sororities, and we presented a whole anti-hazing presentation to them. And they had to rework their entire policies and make sure that it was very safe and that everything would be worked out well.
Awesome. Good. And that's always good to, that's an important part
Definitely.
of the college life. So, okay. Awesome. So Falcons Unite, and this is definitely another thing that's very unique to Bentley. And this is I think you know about this a little bit more because this is a little bit more of a new group, and so I'm hoping
Okay.
you can explain what this is all about and how much of our community is involved with it and what you think about it.
Yeah, it's a really, really great group. It's based usually out of the Student Center, but it's a group that puts on an event every single Friday and Saturday, starting at 10 p.m., going till about 1 a.m., and it's free for all students. So it really stops us from being a suitcase school. There is something guaranteed to be going on. So in the past, they've turned our downstairs area, which is just big, big rooms, and they've turned it into an indoor ice skating rink, which was so cool.
Very cool.
They've done laser tag tournaments, make your own gingerbread man, caricatures, things like that. So you usually just wander into the student center looking for food. You see something awesome going on, and you just stay and do that.
Yeah. I definitely agree. It's events like that that help us, not to be a suitcase school. And there really is something for everyone here. Like, who wouldn't want to take part in something like that?
Exactly.
Or go and explore Boston or go to different athletic events. There's just so much here to do.
Definitely.
Always. It's great.
I would rarely go home,
Yeah.
which
no.
might have made my mom sad. But.
No, but it's a good thing.
Yes.
So women's leadership, and this is something that is I'm really excited to have Jen here for because she is so involved with a bunch of different women's leadership programs and different events. She lived on the women's leadership floor, so we can talk to you a little bit about that. Something that's kind of more of a new initiative to Bentley, but it's something that we've really kind of tackled head on, and I know how involved you are with it. So this is definitely your moment to talk about women's leadership here at Bentley.
Okay. So definitely definitely, it wasn't one of the reasons I came to Bentley originally, but then once I was here, it's made up such a big part of my life, which is awesome. So I did live on the women's leadership floor, and that is basically a group of 21 girls who all apply to live on it together. For any guys watching, we do have a general leadership floor starting sophomore year, but we take care of the women first. And with that, you actually are assigned a mentor. And next year, I applied to be a mentor, and I'm going to be one. So I'm excited to meet my freshmen soon. But that mentor works with you all year to make sure you're comfortable with the school and getting leadership opportunities and helping you with that. You have lots of different events. I know the year before me, they went up to New York City and got to meet some corporate professionals up there. And then my group actually went all the way down to DC. You can see some of us down at the conference there on the slideshow you guys can see right now. But with that, we got to go to this huge conference and meet different people there and talk about leadership. We also do have the Center for Business and Women on campus, and that is led by Betsy Myers, who's an amazing business professional, and she leads a lot of different events on campus for students. Usually it's women's leadership floor first, get first dibs, and then everyone else is welcome. But they put Brown Bags with Betsy, which is a lunch where we get to talk to her about a specific theme. She'll lead other leadership centered events talking about different styles of leadership, things like that. So I've actually gotten to meet her several times now, and she's a really good mentor and resource on campus.
Awesome. And the real reason that we've started, the Center for Women in Business is because, there was that glass ceiling for so long where women could only go so far, and it just wasn't proportionate, the number of women that were in executive roles out in business to men. So this is definitely an initiative that Bentley has brought on, and they have some really cool events, different networking events, different speakers, and Betsy has really paved the way for all of that, and I'm so glad that you've gotten to take part in all of it and meet with her, and she is a fabulous resource for the university.
Yep.
So awesome. All right, and like we spoke about with athletics a little bit earlier, so athletics is definitely a big part of our community. So we have 22 varsity sports, everyththing from swimming to tennis to track and field to cross country to football, hockey, baseball, softball. We have it all. We have everything is Division II except for ice hockey, which is Division I. So they are our only Division I team, but they get a really great turnout. Our men's and women's basketball team are consistently ranked, in the top 10 in the country. They get a huge turnout. This one picture on this slide is from one of our men's basketball games. That is the Bentley Blizzard in the background, which is where everyone wears white to the games, and they kind of make their own blizzard. And, we have Flex Falcon there, and then his little baby brother Blizzard, which is always a lot of fun. And down in our athletic center, which was renovated about 6 or 7, 8 years ago now, a multi-million-dollar renovation. It is a awesome facility. There is a weight room just for the general population of the school, with all the weight room facilities at the bottom and all the cardio equipment at the top. Lots of TVs. All of the machines are always in tip-top shape. And then there is a separate weight room just for our varsity athletes, which is pretty unbelievable as well. And then we have, all the facilities, from a field hockey lacrosse field to the football field, Olympic-sized swimming pool, an indoor field house that is for our track team for volleyball as well as basketball. We have a baseball field, we have the soccer field, and then the hockey rink is right down the street in Watertown, and that's a great facility as well. And like we said with athletics earlier, that if you don't want to play a sport in the varsity level, we have a lot of students that played a sport in high school but aren't quite sure if they want to play it at the varsity level in college because of the time commitment. We do have a ton of club and intramural sports. I think 3,000 out of our 4,000 students each year take part in our club and intramural sports. So it's something that's really popular. We have a water polo club. We have, softball, basketball, and then we're adding equestrian. So definitely, if you do want to play a sport, continue something you played in high school, you can definitely find a team to join here as well.
Ultimate Frisbee is intense.
Yes, that one is yes, they added that while I was in school here, and they instantly had a ton of members, and they travel all over. So, that's an intense one for sure. It's a big team. All right, and then of course Boston is something we talked about already. We don't know if you've been to Boston or not, but Boston is a total college town. I've heard that about a third of the population of Boston is college students, which I think is really cool. So everyone's the same age, doing the same thing. There's so much to do between the North End, getting some good Italian food, going to Fenway to see a Red Sox game. If you are not a Boston sports fan, that's okay. I'm sure you'll find some friends here anyway. But definitely so much to do in Boston. What do you like to do when you go into Boston?
Well, I'm actually living in Harvard Square this year,
Awesome.
so I'm starting to explore it a little bit more, and I'm really excited that I'm going to be able to know where I'm going now when I go into the shuttle. So there's really, really good food in Harvard Square, I found. But then there's always live music playing all the time, which I'm not used to. I lived in a very small town where we didn't have public transportation or anything, so this is all very strange. I've gone down to Newbury Street. I can't afford anything there, but it's a great place to window shop. Prudential Center is really great. I haven't been out to Fenway for a game yet. I need to. It's on my bucket list for being here, but I'll definitely get out there. I know usually the school empties out a tiny bit when we have big sporting games around because everyone wants to go. Lots of other things. Boston Commons are big. I love going down there. They have really good lemonade down there.
Oh, really? I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
There's way too much sugar and it's awesome. But I go down there and just walk around with friends and sit there and read for hours and stuff. So
Awesome. Yeah, it's a beautiful city. It's definitely, a city that you can call your own, and there is so much to do. And then there's Cambridge in between Waltham and Boston, and there's so much to do even there. So always, and Waltham itself is a city also. So there's Moody Street in Waltham, where one side is Bentley, the other side is Brandeis. So it's a lot of college students in the area. And Moody Street is known for being a very culturally diverse, with lots of different restaurants and shops. So you can go. You don't even have to go into Boston
yeah.
to get that experience of going out to dinner and going out with friends and having lots of college students around you. So it's a great area to go to college for sure. All right, awesome. So I just wanted to take a little bit of time towards the end to just go over how to apply to Bentley. Being a member of the admissions committee, I am very proud of, the way that we review applications. We are a Common App school, which makes things a lot easier when you're applying to 10 different schools to use the Common App. Will make your life a little less hectic. We do have a supplement. I promise it's not too hard. It's one extra sheet, and it's, why Bentley? Why is Bentley the right fit for you? Bentley is definitely a school that isn't the right fit for everybody because we are a little bit more specialized with our business interest. We are a little bit of a smaller school, so we really want to hear what you can bring to Bentley and what you think you will get out of your Bentley education. So the supplement is something that we really do pay attention to, as well as your interest in Bentley. So, I know Jen is one of our beloved tour guides, so coming here for a tour is awesome. Attending an info session, we do offer admissions interviews. They are not required, but they're definitely strongly recommended, especially if something specific happened to you in high school that you want to give a little bit of an explanation about. It's definitely a great idea to do an interview. Also, if you do want the attention of an admissions counselor for a little bit and, you have a lot of questions, you want to get them answered, we definitely recommend an interview with that as well. With your high school transcript, we really are looking at the rigor of your curriculum. We're looking at your performance each year, and your test scores are part of our admissions decision as well. We do super score both the SAT as well as the ACT, so definitely send us everything, and we will take the best of all of them. We do read your essay. It is very important. I always get the question, what should I write my essay about? And there's so much that you can write an essay about, but what it should really portray is what's important to you. So, there is so little room in your application for the committee to really learn about you, and the essay is really one of the few places that we have that ability. So write something important to you. You can write, I remember one of the best essays that we read was this young lady that compared herself to an oriental rug and every single thread through it, and how that changed the rug and how that changed her life, and it was such a cool essay. So definitely, it can be something so different, or you can write about why your mom is important to you. It doesn't really matter as long as it really, talks about who you are as a person. Recommendation letters, we require one one recommendation from a guidance counselor as well as one from a teacher. So we are looking at those to see what your teacher says you were like in the classroom. The guidance counselor will definitely let us know if anything special happened to you over high school that we should be aware about or why you're interested in Bentley. So those are also very important. Your application at Bentley is read about 2, 3, 4, 5 times, which is crazy to think about with all 7,000 applications that we received last year. But we really do have that intense admissions process because we want to find the students that are the right fit, and we want them to be happy here when they get here. And we actually do have a 95% retention rate from freshman to sophomore year. So we definitely think our application review process is working for us. All right, so now we're at the end of our presentation, but we would like to take any questions that you may have. I'd be happy to answer them. Anything, about admissions or Bentley in general or campus life, I'd be happy, both Jen and I, to answer those for you. So the first one we have is the criteria for being admitted to Bentley. So this is a question that's very common that we get, and like I said before, while the academics are very important to us, so isn't the personal side. We want, the young lady that's going to be involved and that's a leader and, has all the different pieces of the puzzle and will have as many in as many involvements as Jen does, or maybe someone else that it's a lot of it. Or maybe someone that started their own business already, or maybe someone that has played 3 sports consistently, or maybe someone that I remember I had a recommendation once, and the teacher said that she would trust this student through and through to even watch her own kids, which I think speaks so highly. So we're definitely looking at that personal side. But when it comes to the academic criteria, we are looking for a rigorous curriculum. That's something that's very important. So if your school does offer honors AP classes, we are looking that you consistently take honors classes each year, maybe preferably 1 or 2 APs your junior and senior year. And pre-calc is something very important to Bentley that you have to have. We do have 2 required calculus classes here at Bentley, and they can be a little bit tough. So if you didn't take pre-calc, that can be tough. So how'd you do in the calculus classes?
So I'm more of an English student. So they were a struggle for me. I did pre-calculus, but since I transferred in high school, getting in the calculus level was not really working, so I did statistics instead. So I didn't really have much of a background, and I came here and I tried taking the class, and it was difficult, but we do have a math tutoring center on campus, and I think I was there 2 or 3 times every single week. They probably knew me by name by the end. It was bad, but they were really, really great. My professors were awesome. I harassed them in office hours all the time, but they were very willing to have me come whenever. And eventually I did pass the class on time, which is great, but I'm glad I'm done.
Well, yeah, I bet. And I bet that speaks really highly about the professors here on campus, right? So do you feel like they've always been accessible to you if you needed extra help?
Definitely. Some give out their cell phone numbers, which is strange, I know. But definitely, I've been here for a year, and I still run into some professors from the first semester, and they tell me, oh, Jennifer, come back. Like, I want to catch up with you. How are you doing? Have you decided your major, minor? All of that. So they still remember me afterwards, and awesome. Definitely, you can't skip class very easily, though, because of that.
No. If you sign up for that 8:30 a.m. class, you better go to class, because they will notice if you are missing.
Yes.
So I know as a student, I definitely needed that as well, too. If I had been in a giant lecture hall and no one had known that I was there, I don't think I would have either. So it was really good to have, that personal relationship with your professors, and they're always there for advice, too, if you need it. A lot of them were out in the working world, executives for years, and kind of made a career change, and they still have all their connections, and they will do some networking for you, and I definitely can't speak any more highly about our professors.
Definitely. They're awesome.
Awesome. So we have one more question. What does the average student schedule look like? Maybe this is something that you could answer. So what did your freshman year schedule look like?
For classes, I had most students do 5 classes a semester. That's the pretty basic what you would do. You usually meet twice a week for an hour and 15 minutes each time. So ideally, you're in class for 2.5 hours each day, 5 days a week. Freshman year, my earliest class was 11:20, and I had Fridays off. So they definitely are nice to you about freshman schedules. They don't make you take the worst classes possible. Though I do have one friend who definitely always takes an 8:30 a.m. every Friday. I don't know why. It
Ooh.
helps her wake up. But yeah, definitely, you're not in class nearly as much as you are in high school, which is really nice. You have a lot more time to get involved on campus and then study as well. And since everyone's living here, people are doing homework together a lot of the time. So when I had that math problem that I could not do and I didn't want to go up to the tutoring center, I could walk next door and someone else was probably doing the same homework and be able to talk to each other like that.
Awesome. And maybe you could give them a little bit of an idea of what kind of classes it is that you took
Yep.
your freshman year and then what you're signed up to take your sophomore year.
Okay. So I know what I'm taking next year. I'll see what I can remember from freshman year. So there is the mandatory accounting and finance track. So I did 2 semesters of that. The mandatory calculus, 2 semesters of that. I also did business law, philosophy, U.S. government class, nonfiction creative writing class, which was
Very cool.
amazing. Loved it. I actually loved it so much. I'm taking the professor again next semester.
Awesome. Good.
So that was really great. And then an IT class, and a couple others, and they're not coming to me off the top of my head.
Okay.
But then next semester, I am signed up for business management, statistics, let's see, the 1800s English literature, which is that same professor.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting. And then a couple others.
Economics.
Oh, yep, economics, and then I'm also doing the honors exposition 201, which is actually a grant writing class, and I'm going into nonprofits, so it's really good. So we actually work with service learning, and we write a whole grant throughout the class, and most of the time people actually do win money for the organizations and their local groups.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it'll be exciting.
Yeah, you'll have to talk more about that when you go through the class and tell us more.
Okay.
So awesome. Good. All right, so we have another question. What is more important to admissions, the math scores or the reading writing? And I'm assuming you're speaking about your test scores, either your SAT or your ACT. They are all important. We do definitely, because we are a business school, focus a little bit more on the math. So last year, our middle 50% range for the SATs was a 1780 to a 1970. So we do look at all 3 sections, looking for a little bit higher than a 600 on the math. The ACT, our average is around a 27 or a 28. So definitely, yes, we do pay a little bit more attention to the math, but we do look at the reading, and we also do look at the writing, which some schools don't do that. And we do not require the SAT 2s, which usually puts a big smile on everybody's face. But while your test scores are important, a little bit more important is the rigor of your curriculum as well as your performance in high school. Those are definitely a bigger part of the application process than your test scores are.
And I know I always get questions on my tours, was the required SAT or the required GPA, and we don't really have that. So my math SAT was not the best. I was more of an English student, so the others were stronger, but nothing there really killed me. You do have the stronger sides, admissions does consider that as well. So if you have like 550 instead of the 600 in math, but you have a lot of other strong sides, don't not apply just because of that.
Definitely, yeah. Like I said, those are all just averages, and she's completely right. So if you just weren't a strong math student and that shows in your test scores, that's okay, as long as you have some other pieces to the puzzle that we think will be a great addition to Bentley, even without the strongest math skills. All right, so it doesn't seem like we have any other questions. So thank you so much. I do want to take this time really quickly to push our open house that we have. We only have one open house in the fall. It is for prospective students. This year is on Sunday, September 29th, I'm sorry. And it is kind of a full day event. It starts at 10:30, 11, and then goes until about 3 or 4, and it's just an awesome day. The president speaks at it. There is food everywhere. That's one big part of it. There's different athletic events going on. There's a presentation on financial aid, on career services. Representatives from every single one of the majors will be here, and you can speak with them. If you're thinking about doing one major, you can kind of get their take on it. It's just, there's people from the study abroad office that will be here. There's people from service learning that will be available.
I'll be there.
Awesome. Good. Are you doing the service learning?
I'm doing like 3 things that day. So I'm giving tours with you guys. I'm
Yep.
running a service learning booth, and then the Facebook. So
Awesome.
I'm also a social media specialist for Bentley for an
Yeah.
intern this summer, and I do a lot with our Facebook and Twitter and everything. So if you guys tweet at us, I'm probably the one tweeting you back.
Awesome. Good. Well, it's always good to put a face to the Twitter name.
Or
So
it's my boss.
yes, yes. So good. So definitely, go online, register for open house. We would love to see you there. It's a great day to see campus.
Fun.
If you can't make it any other day, definitely come to open house. And all of the admissions counselors will be there, representatives with financial aid. So it's just a great day to see the campus in full bloom and get to speak with whoever it is that you're wishing to speak with. And we look forward to seeing you there. If you have any other questions, feel free to call or email our admissions office, and we will get you in touch with whoever you would like to speak to if we cannot answer the questions ourselves. And thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully we'll hear from you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice talking to you.